record on the computer. Okay. All right. So I'm excited to talk to you guys tonight about nutrition or about the plan. And so hopefully you guys got a chance to read through it and just kind of look through it. When I started getting some questions and stuff today, and I know like I'm in other groups where we've been chatting about this for a long time and we've kind of been talking about the time nutrition aspect. And one of the things I want to say is that this is completely new for everybody. I've never done time nutrition before. It's never been released in a Beachbody program before. But from everything that I've heard from Autumn, like ever since she came out with 21 Day Fix and every other program she's ever done, like people were always asking, when should I eat and what should I eat? And so she's been in the process of creating 80 Day Obsession and creating this time nutrition for a very long time, like a couple years. She's been actually planning out this program, and she decided to come up with the time nutrition because those were so many common questions that she got from people. And I know a few of you did the program Shift Shop back in July. And so I'm going to reference that quite a bit when I'm talking about nutrition, because I think that was really a good step in the right direction that Beachbody took in terms of how they laid out the meal plan and the nutrition plan. And I know for me, it was nice to have some samples to look at and to go through. And I was kind of looking through the meal plan from 80 Day Obsession, and I love how they broke it down. Every single plan, plan A, plan B, plan C, has a plan. So there's some samples for you to follow. And like, you know, with Shift Shop, they gave you legit meal plans that you could use, and they did the same thing with 80 Day Obsession. So one of the things I just want to make sure that you guys understand and know is that this is new for everybody. This is not, and it's going to be, it's going to be tricky. There's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be learning curves. And so I don't want you to think about Monday like it's make or break. You know, if Monday you struggle through the nutrition, we may struggle for the first 2 or 3 weeks in trying to figure out, you know, what you can fit in where and what you can eat where and all those kind of things. So don't stress so much about nailing it perfectly on Monday, because it might take some tweaking. It might take some time. Not only is the nutrition new for everybody, but the workouts are different too. And I know I've gotten some messages about how long the workouts are and that kind of thing. But I want you to come into this whole entire program with an open mind. So the nutrition, the time nutrition, the container system, if you've never used the container system, the workouts, just come in with an open mind. And that's all I can ask, is that you just look at this positively. Like the results are insane. Like if you fully commit and you decide, you know, I'm going to do my best, I'm going to go all in, and we're going to talk about goal setting later this week too. But it's new for everybody. And it's a program that, again, like I said, we're going to have some bumps and there might be some days where you really struggle through, but as long as you get up the next day and you don't just quit on day 10, that's all I care about, is that we can get through this together and continue to work hard through it. So just remember that this is new for everybody. Try to come in with that positive mindset. That, remember, if we did the same thing, if we went back to 21 Day Fix nutrition with doing these workouts, like not a lot of change would happen. Because even though we've done a little obsessed for 2 weeks now, I'm already kind of like, okay, I'm ready. What's something different? And we're going to have 80 different workouts. So remember that too. Each week is going to be different. And so just come into that with that open mind and that willingness to embrace the program fully and everything. So one other thing too is I was talking to another gal that's running a group of 80 Day Obsession, and we were chatting about some of the questions we've been getting. And for her especially, and I can attest this definitely when I did Shift Shop, you know, if you decide today, like you've already made it up in your mind that this is going to be hard or that you're going to struggle, and you give it 80%, just remember that you're going to achieve 80% results, right? And I know, like I don't expect you to show up on Monday and be 100% perfect. Like even this group, we've been prepping for 4 weeks together, and we've been doing a little obsessed for 2 weeks, and there's tweaks that you have to make. Like life happens, that's going to happen. But just go into this with, I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to do my best, and your results are going to reflect from that. So in terms of like the time nutrition aspect of it, I know I've chatted with some people that are struggling with grasping that. And don't make that the end all be all. It's just the way Autumn set up this program. And really you kind of have to shift your thinking towards, I have to eat at this time, I have to eat at that time, into this is what's best for my body. And I thought about, I never really thought about this either. So, we eat supper 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. I usually don't eat anything before bed. And for the longest time, so I'd get up at 5, work out, and then I really wouldn't eat anything till 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. That was just kind of how my mornings had been going for a while. And you guys think about that. How many hours was I not eating anything, not fueling my body? And so I heard Autumn talk about that in a video, and how it's not just about just eating something in the morning. It's about your body needs that fuel, that energy. It needs something to help you get through that workout. And I've gone for years and never ate before I worked out in the morning. But when she said that, I'm like, that's so true. Yes, I go hard. Yes, I work and in the mornings with my workout. I'm like, just imagine if I would get up, eat something, give my body some time to process that fuel, and then go and work out, And so when they did the test group, there was a lot of them that didn't work out till 11 or 12. And I know for all of us, that's impossible to do. So we just have to kind of switch our thinking towards, oh my gosh, I have to eat here, or I have to eat there, into this is what's best for my body. And when I was in the test group for Shift Shop, and when we did Shift Shop, when it launched, that was my thought process. And I had a lot of people that struggled with that. They struggled with the amount of carbs and the kind of carbs, and they struggled with just the different things with the meal plan. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you throughout this whole entire process, it has to change up here. You have to change how you think about the way that you're eating, what you're eating, and we have to start thinking about it as fuel. You are trying to get to that optimum health level and doing what's best for your body. And that's what Autumn has done, is created the timed workouts and the blocks and the eating, an hour before you work out, eating right after you work out, and what you need to eat to best build off of what you just did, the workout, and all those kind of things. So I'm going to preach that because I learned that about nutrition last year and this year. And then with this program, I think that's so important too. And every day is not going to be perfect. I understand that. I know that. Trust me, I get it. But I think if you can leave this call and kind of start to switch your thinking in your mind, and this weekend when you're prepping and you're making your meal plan and you can think of it that way, I think you'll be way off to a good start and all those things. So again, this program, the way the meal plan set out, it's really taking the guesswork out for you. But with that being said, let's say that certain meals you don't want to have a certain container there. This is not set in stone. You can move containers around. This is just laid out as to what is best for you to eat at a certain time. They've always said, having your fruits earlier in the day is better for you than at night. Same thing with your carbs, trying to get more of your carbs at the beginning of the day than saving them all and having them at night. It's all about the digestion in your body. There's so much scientific work and dietitian work and everything that goes into creating these plans that I personally try to follow it as best I can, because I know that it's scientifically based and backed up with that type of thing. But again, life happens. I know that. And people that were in the test group, coaches that were in the test group, they said the best thing that you can do is spend that time on Saturday, on Sunday, plan out what you're going to eat, have your grocery list made, have your snacks packed. And I know almost all of you work and you're out of your house during the day. When I was doing Shift Shop, I was still teaching at the time. And so what I did, and I was doing this for me and my husband, is on Monday, we would make extra chicken. On Tuesday, we'd make extra taco meat, and we would make extra at lunch or at supper time and have that extra for lunch. So you just kind of have to, again, switch your thinking into prepping into what you can have more often. And when it came to our kids, Kinsley still ate the same things that we did. And actually from eating so much meat then, she loves meat now. She loves, she'll devour a steak, she'll devour a pork chop. because at the time that's what we were eating, and so that's what she was eating. So hopefully, you know, your families will jump on board and help with that as well too. But, you know, just having your snacks packed, having a plan laid out. And I shared that Google Doc with you guys, and I was going to print it off. I didn't get a chance to do that. So hopefully if you have to visualize it like I do, to me, that's going to help, like having that figured out. And I got that right out of the plan. So if you saw that, I just kind of made my own. So I know we're all over the board with different plans, like who's plan A, plan B. And remember, at the end of the phase 1, so in the end of 4 weeks or 30 days or whatever it ends up being, we're going to recalculate. So I know some of you were like, oh, I'm right on the border of C and D. We will recalculate at the end of phase 1. So I have a feeling a lot of you are going to jump to the next bracket up. So you're going to move up. So if you're kind of on that teeter-totter, don't worry too much about it, because we'll reevaluate after a month and get that figured out. Another thing too that you're just going to want, not that you have to print them off, but those food lists, make sure you just kind of read through those and you start to kind of just know what's a green, what's a purple. A teaspoon, one thing to remember too is that almond milk, unsweetened original almond milk, 8 ounces counts as a teaspoon. So I don't know if it's always been like that or I was just under a rock, but like last year I finally figured out that almond milk counted as a teaspoon. So for those of you like that, we'll talk about how we're going to do our Shakeology and stuff, and it calls for a teaspoon. So your almond milk can count as that as well. So just a couple things. Like I said, I was just kind of browsing through the meal plan and hopefully, or the nutrition guide, and hopefully you guys did too, but just some things that I highlighted is that, you know, eating, like I was kind of saying this earlier too, like eating the right foods at the right times helps to promote that muscle recovery, growth, and boost performance. So, you know, a lot of times I'll get to that point where I'm like, okay, I know I need to eat, but what do I need to eat? This lays that out for you. Like it's here. You don't have to think about it so much. Best thing to do though is to space it out every 2 to 3 hours. So no matter when your workout block falls in, focusing on that 2 to 3 hours. And then again, like that workout block gives you those carbohydrates you need to push, and the recovery, the protein you needed to recover. So with that workout block, one thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if you guys caught this. I'm not sure. I can't remember where it was. Oh, it says this on like this page, your Time Nutrition meal plan, this one, is that you can swap meal option 1 with your pre-workout meal. So I was just talking to somebody today and they were like, okay, so I need a green and a red and a yellow and a teaspoon before I work out at 5:30 in the morning. So they were like, well, I could put some spinach in my Shakeology and then put some oatmeal in it, and I was like, no, you can swap that and put that meal option 1. So for most of us, that's or for some, it's a red and a purple and a teaspoon. So for me personally, what I plan on doing is having my Shakeology with almond milk and then having a fruit, either blended in with it or just eating it on the side. So that's my plan for my pre-workout meal, and then that meal, that the green, the red, the yellow, that what is that pre-workout meal, I plan on swapping into my meal option 1. Okay. Oh, look at your baby. Okay, I'll be out in just a minute. Hey, please. I know. Remember what I said? And then here they did give you an option, like a sample meal plan. And this by no means, you don't have to completely follow this to a T. Like you can swap it, you can move around. That's the beauty of this, is that you can do what you need to and move things where you need to. Also your rest day, remember that Sunday, that rest day, very important. So it allows your body to recover. Okay. And then continue to eat every 2 to 3 hours, even on that rest day. So it just kind of swaps things out a little bit. And I did not look into the refeed day and all that stuff, because we won't worry about that till phase 2. So if you have questions about the refeed or the peak depletion or whatever, I did not personally look into that at all, because you don't have to worry about that till phase 2. So on the menu planner, I'm going to just share my screen really quick. And then I'll unmute you guys for a second and see if anybody has any questions. But okay, so this is what I created really quickly. And so like I said, this is for plan B. But if some of you would like, I can totally swap this out. Look on the other plans. I took this right from this menu planner right here and just created it right here. So what I'm personally going to do is print this out and then tonight or tomorrow fill it in by hand and fill out, that way I can keep this and not have to mess with it, but figure out what I want to eat and when. And I personally tend to be a creature of habit. So I tend to have a lot of my same, like this will probably be the same meal almost every day because I just tend to be a creature of habit. But I switched this pre-workout meal and it turns out that the post and meal one are the same groups of food. But what it's going to end up being for me is like this is going to be at 4:30 in the morning. Then I'm going to take my Energize and hydrate while I'm working out. This is going to be right after I work out. This is probably going to be more of like my breakfast. So what I'm already thinking is I'll probably do eggs and spinach or eggs and peppers and have some oatmeal or even some toast with a little bit of peanut butter will be that post-workout meal. And again, like if I do eggs, then I can make those ahead of time and have those prepped for the next couple of days. Then meal one will be my lunch. So probably usually a salad, some type of salad that way. And then here is a snack. So more of like, for me, vegetables are not a huge thing for me. I'm not a huge vegetable person. So I will either honestly maybe move this green up here and have just a little bit more lettuce and then just have a fruit and a healthy fat or whatever falls into there. And then meal three, so that's going to end up being my supper. Usually what we did when we were doing Shift Shop is we would have some kind of meat. I would make a veggie. We would have sweet potato fries or red potatoes. Orange is going to be like your dressing and that kind of thing. So I know during A Little Obsessed, I looked at this differently. During A Little Obsessed, like the orange and stuff was up here with this meal. So again, I might swap that around because I'm probably going to have a salad with some dressing. So I'll probably take that O and move that orange up here and that kind of thing. So there's nothing wrong with swapping some of these things out, but I really try to keep like the fruits and the carbs and the proteins where they need to be because that's really a lot of what the program is based on getting you those results and getting you those max results and max effort. So one of the things, let's see. Here's another example. Oh, that's a refeed day. Don't worry about that. Oops. Okay, so there's the menu planner. So here you go are some examples of your workout blocks, okay? And I know a lot of us are not going to fall into this midday category, but you might on the weekend. So it's not, don't throw these examples out because this might be you on the weekend. But so here, and again, this is just something we're going to have to switch our mindset to. I know for me personally, since I'm getting up earlier so that I can eat, I'm going to try and get a lot of my morning tasks done. So like doing the dishes quick, switching laundry around, like all those little things that I try to squeeze in before kids get up or whatever, that's going to fall into that hour while I'm waiting for my food to settle, my Energize to kick in. So when I make my plan, I'm just going to bump this all up an hour ahead of time. So I'm going to wake up at 4:30. I'll have my Shakeology probably at 4:45, and then I'll start working out an hour later at 5:45, just swapping it around that way. So looking at that, if you're the morning person, if you're having time for midday, or if this is you at night, okay? So trying to just figure out where you best fit in, your meal options, that kind of thing. And again, like if this is you, like you're not working out till night, then all you really need to worry about is making sure that you have, your pre-workout meal here ready for you to go. If you're at work still at 4:30, getting that in beforehand. So, and again, this is going to take some getting used to. There might be some days where you're like some mornings I've been kind of waking up and I'm like, I'll just eat a string cheese quick and then I'll work out. But I can tell like once I started eating something in the morning, now I feel like I have to. Like if I don't, I feel by the end of the time I'm done working out, I feel sick almost. And another thing too with that is the workouts are longer. Like it's not just 30 minutes, they are a little bit longer. And you're working at that optimum level, your heart rate is going to be up. So you're needing that fuel kind of beforehand as well too. Okay, I'm going to let me unmute all. Okay. I unmuted everybody. Are there any questions that you guys have right now? I don't think there's anything. I did get a couple of questions. I think Christy had a question. Different ways to get veggies in. I'm a horrible person to ask that question because there's literally like 3 vegetables I like. But a big thing for me is having salad at lunchtime or supper time because I just get a lot of my veggies in that way. And again, like I can literally
I'm like trying to wrap my head around like how this is working.
Are you talking to me, Christy? No, maybe not. Okay. So different ways to get veggies in. Again, the best way that I do it is just having a salad, usually at lunch, just because then I get 2 servings of veggies in, and then I only have 2 more that I have to get in throughout the day. And sometimes too, especially when I was doing Shift Shop, for example, like at night, I would just have to make myself eat them. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't want broccoli, but I have to eat it, or I'm going to eat it, or again, just kind of looking at it and turning it as in fuel. I get my workout in very early and that's late for work. I do not have time to eat an hour prior to workout. That's a good question. I would say then just start following the plan after the workout. So like getting in the recover and your fruit and then just jumping right into that post-workout meal. And then you'll have to fit these containers in somewhere else throughout the day. So adding in maybe another protein. Yeah, because I know that this is set up to like have that before your fuel, before you work out. I did also have a question. Somebody texted me today too. I think it was Erica. I feel like, okay, so here's her question. She texted me today. Hey, how do you make actual meals with what you have to eat in containers? I feel like all my foods are cold foods and not really meal-like. They're just a bunch of snacks put together besides my eggs with spinach. So I kind of chatted on that earlier, like what we have typically on like the supper meal, again, is like a meat and a veggie and a potato of some kind. But one thing I do usually do, and I did this, I think, in that meal planning video, is I will go to like Pinterest and I will share, I meant to do it today and I ended up taking a nap, but I will share all the meal plans that I've been seeing from other people who were in the test group for 80-Day Obsession, created different things, but I will just go to like 21 Day Fix recipes. And okay, so for example, like here, let's just look at this. So chicken burrito bowls. And I will search that, or if there's something specific I know that I want to make, I will search that. And like, let's say I want to make lasagna. I will search 21 Day Fix lasagna and see what comes up from that. So then usually what I do is kind of look over the ingredients. Okay. And then usually, okay. So if you make this, you have it split evenly. That's 1 red, 1 green, 1 yellow, half a blue. So I come back here, 1 green, 1 red, 1 yellow, and then I could swap my blue and put it down here. So there's supper. So sometimes maybe you want to reverse engineer that and plan out your suppers. And usually that's what I do because suppers are the most important when I'm planning for my family. So like, let's say here, okay, so I want to make chicken burrito bowls. You know, and the green is going to be, I'm guessing, the vegetables, obviously. And then your yellow is going to be like the beans and stuff that are in it. You're going to have your chicken. So that's sometimes what I will do too, is kind of reverse engineer. And then that way this makes 4 servings. So if you have one for lunch and one for supper, one for lunch, then you can have that, that would fit right in here as well. You could just split up your blue. So that's typically what I will do, just spending like an hour just searching for, different, like, what's that, a BLT wrap, clicking on this. This is probably going to be the same thing, like a red, a yellow. That wasn't what I wanted. So, okay, so 3, so you got 1 red, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 yellow. There we go. So there could be your entire supper. So if your family's not so into, or you don't like the idea of pork chops and broccoli and sweet potatoes for supper, I would just come to Pinterest and search and just go to 21 Day Fix recipes. And like I said, I promise tomorrow I will share all those sample meal plans across the board that I have gotten. And then that way that'll give you some ideas as well too, of different things. And there's other, like, let's say you have a recipe and it needs 2 yellows or it needs 2 reds or whatever it might be. It's just kind of a matter of taking that time to sit down and plan it out and kind of looking ahead. Okay, let me just refresh this one more time. Okay. All right, I am going to stop my share. Anybody else have some questions or anything? I don't know if that was helpful or not. Christy, I unmuted you. I know we were kind of chatting today. Do you have more questions or anything else I can touch on for you?
Not really. I just need to wrap my head around getting up earlier. I just have like sleep issues. So it's like, okay, I need to sleep. My body needs to sleep. Mm-hmm. And yet, I mean, I'm okay with going all in and, trying the program, but it's like, if I'm having trouble sleeping, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I think for me personally, like just having my Shakeology, because I think that's going to be easier in my stomach to settle too. And then I won't feel like so full. Yeah, I know. And like, I think I said this to you too. And for some of you too that are the early morning worker outers, like try just doing a half an hour first. Like try, eating or drinking your Shakeology and then waiting a half an hour and then doing your workout. Like if an hour seems insanely long, then and sometimes I mix my Energize and Hydrate together. So probably what I would do is like, if you're doing that half an hour, maybe mix those 2 together, or just drink half your Energize and then start working out and drink the rest of it throughout the rest of your workout and stuff. But I would say I would still try to eat something and then wait a little bit. If you can't wait a full hour, at least try half an hour and see how that works. And again, some mornings you might be rushed for time. You might be like, well, all right, not going to happen today. And that's going to happen. It's not going to be awesome every day. Darcy, I just unmuted you. How about you? Do you have any more questions or anything? And you sent me a Facebook message, and I don't think I've looked at it yet.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
My biggest thing is just getting up in the morning and eating when I'm trying to work out like at 5:30, and I don't think I can possibly get up at 4 and then go work a 9-hour day. So
yeah,
I'm just trying to. That's not going to be feasible for my schedule in life. So
I know, and I think like when, even when they came out with those workout blocks and like when we started this group too, I saw so many of us that were working out early in the morning. But same thing, like I would just try, I would, or if, I'm trying to think if there's an easy red that you could just eat or just something like, even like I said, some mornings I've just been eating a thing of string cheese and then like I'll sit there for about 10 minutes and read my devotion and then I'll go and start working out. So I think especially for those of us that work out so early in the morning, I think if you can just get something in your stomach to just give you that little bit of energy, especially this first week when we're like adjusting to it and stuff, I think, and just kind of easing our way into it and working our way into it, hopefully that will maybe help. But no, I totally get that because Christy messaged me today. She's like, I'm getting up at 4. So I get it. I do.
And my other question was, I had messaged you the other day about the nursing component.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if anyone else is in my situation, but with calorie.
I know, I think Savannah is in that situation as well. And I will do a little bit of digging for you. But what has always been done in the past was you just added 500 calories to your final number. And usually that bumps you up to the next bracket. So what bracket were you in?
I was A.
A. So normally if you add 500 calories to what your final total was, that's the target you shoot for. And generally that bumps you up to B. So calculate and see if that moves you to B. And then I will do a little bit of research too and find out, because I know there were some people in the test group that were breastfeeding that still had everything working or were able to follow it and everything. So I know fluids are huge when it comes to that. It's just making sure you're getting enough water for sure throughout the day and stuff.
I think that's my only concerns, I guess, right now. So
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. Of course. All right, Liz, last but not least.
I don't have any questions. My only concern is like everybody else is just getting up early and getting the workout in and trying to eat before that, because that's kind of got me nervous. But other than that,
I think from what I'm seeing from other coaches and other, just talking with you guys too, and some of you that have done the programs before in the past, I think it's just so different and so new that it's kind of hard to like wrap your head around. And I remember this with Shift Shop, like when everybody was freaking out about the nutrition plan and decreasing carbs every week and everything. And it's going to be a learning curve and it's going to be adjustment. And one thing that I kept telling myself too is, if we just stayed the same, if we kept doing the same thing over and over, we wouldn't see results. We wouldn't change. So I think just the different workouts every single day and switching up nutrition. And again, like not every day is going to be awesome. Not every day you're going to nail, but as long as you get up the next day and just keep trying, keep working and don't stress about, like, if you aren't able to eat beforehand, don't stress yourself out about it. Just make sure you get those containers in sometime else. Or like I said, have something, just make sure you eat probably right away to try and give your body that fuel that it needs and stuff. So my hope is that we can do a call like this every week, because I would love, I know you guys ask questions, but I know other people have the same questions too. And I was talking to an older challenger I've had a few times, and I said, as a coach myself moving forward, like my big goal for this year is to really help with nutrition, because I know that generally workouts are easy for us to do. Like we know you get up, you do it, or at night you do it and then it's done. But nutrition is all day. It's something that you have to focus on consistently, and it takes a lot more mental thought and willpower. So I would love to do a call like this every week if we can. And obviously if you can't jump on every week, that's totally fine. But I'll do a poll in the group of what night would work best. And then we can just kind of set that as our time, especially through the next 3 months, just to kind of get on and chat and see if somebody else has ideas too about maybe some of you are extreme veggie lovers and can give Christy some tips on her struggles with vegetables, because I struggle with vegetables. Like I said, there's like 3 that I really like and eat on a consistent basis. So, and that kind of thing. So awesome. All right. Well, that's what I got for you guys. And so, just kind of heads up the rest of the week. I have, I'll share all those meal plans from other coaches in there. I will work on my meal plan tomorrow and share that with you guys. And then I created a contract that you guys can sign and look over, just kind of your commitment to yourself in that, with 80-Day Obsession and what you want to get out of it. And then we're going to talk a little bit about goals on Friday, setting some goals, and then kind of evaluating and all those kind of things. And then make sure that you get your before pictures and your measurements and everything done, because that's going to be huge, not only for, and I posted about this yesterday, the scale may not move as quickly or as wonderfully as we all would like it to, but 9 times out of 10, when I have a challenger that messages me and they're frustrated with the scale, and I say, send me your pictures, and they do, and I always, like 9 times out of 10, see a significant difference in the pictures. They don't always see it because we are our own worst critics, but with me, that just general eye that looks at it, 9 times out of 10, I see a huge difference that the scale doesn't always reflect. And remember, we've been working out for 4 weeks and doing different workouts for 4 weeks. So as soon as we start 80-Day Obsession, you might instantly start building muscle and shredding some of that fat. And so the scale may not move a ton because you might be toning up and building more of that muscle. So those pictures are really going to take and show a big difference in all of those areas that we want it to. So, okay. And what I'm going to say is if you have any questions, do me a favor and just post them in the group. Unless it's like a super personal question that you don't want others to see, then Facebook message me. But put it in the group, because I think, as soon as we get going with this, you might be able to answer each other's questions, and somebody else might have the same question and get it answered that way, and other opinions and that kind of thing too. Okay? All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to